Hello once again. My name is Carl Daniels of Morgan State University, and I am back with another PSA. Today we will be discussing cold stress. What is cold stress? How is cold stress addressed? And how you, the audience, can protect yourself from cold stress. So what is cold stress exactly? Well, according to the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, aka OSHA in the US, cold stress refers to the physical effect of being in the environmental cold, aka your body temperature dropping to dangerous levels as a human. So anybody could get cold stress, even if you have lived in a colder climate your entire life. In the US, it's easier to get cold stress in the fall and spring when the weather is not as warm yet. But of course, the winter is still dangerous. Those who may not be used to cold body temperatures, who have dressed improperly like wearing wet clothing, are exhausted, in poor physical health, the elderly, a younger child, or even an outdoor worker are highly susceptible to cold stress, according to Princeton University. And it's important to look into cold stress because a journal article from the National Library of Medicine reported the psychological and physical effects of rats when exposed to cold stress. And if the rats had such troubles with cold stress, there's no imagine what happens to the human body when affected by cold stress in long periods of time. Overall, there are 4 different types of cold stress. The first one, frostbite, is when the skin and tissues begin to freeze, usually in the hands and feet. It can range from permanently damaging your skin to having an entire amputation. Symptoms include a numbness, tingling or stinging sensation, or pale skin. Immersion foot or trench foot is when your body tries to save heat and it begins to constrict blood vessels. The thing about trench foot is that it happens even in 60-degree Fahrenheit weather, making it constantly dangerous and wet and cold temperatures. You can have a change in skin color, numbness, swelling, or even leg cramps. Regarding chilblains, that is an inflammation of small blood vessels and skin exposure, and that also happens at 60 degrees Fahrenheit and below. When you have chilblains, it can lead to ulcers or blisters, but usually it is just a redness, itchiness, or visible inflammation of the skin. One of the more alarming cold stress is hypothermia. That is when the body heat drops below 95 degrees Fahrenheit. And for reference, you're not supposed to be under 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. It can occur when weather is above 40 degrees or even under, when it's raining, when a person is sweating, or even being submerged in water. According to the Cleveland Clinic, between 700 and 1,500 people die every year from hypothermia, which is a great number of people. It can range from having a shivering effect to a loss of mobility and consciousness. In the beginning stages, a person may begin to stomp their feet to try to get a sensation or wake up their nerves. But as it continues, it progresses to you just stop shivering overall and confusion. And eventually, if you don't get out of the situation, you will die. These are all visuals of what cold stress does to the body, and just a reminder of how we need to protect ourselves as humans from the weather. Now that we know what cold stress is, it's time to learn how it's being addressed in society. In reality, it's not, as there's not too many rules against cold stress, but OSHA has an act that causes employers to avoid putting employees in danger, like extremely cold conditions. Still, everyday civilians are losing their lives due to cold stress. One way to prevent cold stress is to protect yourself from it in the first place. And you can also share these tips with people you know to help protect them as well. You can protect yourself from cold stress by wearing 3 layers of loose-fitted clothing, including wearing a hat, providing outdoor workers with warm non-alcoholic drinks and rotating shifts, avoiding wearing wet clothes, bring an extra pair of socks and gloves as those are your most vulnerable areas, and of course, wearing insulated waterproof boots. Thank you again for learning about cold stress with me today, and I do hope that this information was useful to you. If you would like to learn more about cold stress and how to protect yourself, or even how to treat it, please visit the site below. Until next time.